It's 2:47 in the morning. You are staring at the ceiling, and your mind will not stop working. You are replaying a conversation from 3 days ago, word for word, wondering if you said the wrong thing. You are running tomorrow's schedule through your head for the 5th time, checking it, rechecking it, like if you go over it enough times, nothing will be allowed to go wrong. Your jaw is tight. Your hands are curled into fists, even though there is nothing to hold on to. And somewhere underneath all of it, there is this quiet, exhausting belief that if you just think about it enough, plan for it enough, prepare for every possible outcome, you can keep the bad thing from happening. So you make the list. You check the messages again. You ask the question one more time, even though you already asked it twice. You grip the steering wheel a little tighter than you need to. Not because you're a controlling person, but because somewhere along the way you learned that letting go felt the same as losing everything. Maybe you know this feeling from somewhere very specific. The waiting room where you kept refreshing a portal for test results that hadn't come in yet. The inbox where you opened an email 17 times, looking for a reply that wasn't there. The phone held tightly, screen lighting up your face at an hour when everyone else in the house is asleep, because you convinced yourself that if you just stay awake, if you just stay alert, you'll be ready the moment something goes wrong. There's a particular kind of exhaustion that comes from this. It's not the tiredness of a long day of work. It's the tiredness of a mind that has been on guard duty for months, maybe years, standing watch over things it was never built to hold. You wake up already tired. You go through your day scanning for what might fall apart next. You smile in conversations while some part of you is quietly still solving a problem from yesterday. And even in the rare moments when things are calm, some part of you doesn't trust the calm. It waits for the other shoe. It keeps one hand on the wheel even when the road ahead looks clear. I want to say something to you gently before we go any further. This is not a character flaw. This is not you being too much, or too anxious, or not faithful enough. This is a nervous system that has been trying to keep you safe for a very long time. And it is tired. You are tired. Tired of holding the wheel with white knuckles. Tired of being the one who has to see it coming. Tired of carrying outcomes that were never yours to carry in the first place. Tired of being the strong one, the planner, the one who always has a backup plan for the backup plan, while nobody ever asks who's holding you. If that's where you are tonight, I'm glad you're here. Because this isn't a video about trying harder. It's not going to tell you to just relax, as if that were ever as simple as it sounds. It's about something much quieter than that. It's about the exact moment your grip loosens, and what happens the second it does. Here is the part nobody tells you about control. It doesn't actually work. Not the way we think it does. We believe, somewhere deep down, that if we grip tightly enough we can prevent pain. That if we plan every scenario we can outrun uncertainty. That if we stay vigilant, always scanning, always bracing, we can catch the disaster before it catches us. But control was never actually about the outcome. It was about the feeling. The illusion of safety it gives us for just a moment in a world that feels unpredictable. Think about it honestly for a second. Has worrying about something ever actually changed the outcome? Has staying up until 3 a.m. running every possible scenario ever once prevented the thing you were afraid of? Or did it just cost you a night of sleep, and leave the outcome exactly where it was going to land anyway? That's the part that's so hard to admit. Control feels productive. It feels like doing something. But most of the time, all that gripping isn't actually protecting the situation. It's just protecting us from the discomfort of not knowing. And here's the quiet tragedy in that. The moment you feel a little bit of that control slipping, the anxiety doesn't shrink. It grows. Because now you're not just afraid of the original problem. You're afraid of losing your grip on it too. So you check again. You plan again. You go over it one more time. And somewhere in that loop, exhaustion sets in, but you can't stop because stopping feels like letting your guard down. And letting your guard down feels dangerous. I think it's important to say, this response didn't come from nowhere. Maybe you grew up in a home where nobody was watching out for you, so you learned to watch out for yourself. You became the responsible one, the one who noticed when the mood in the room shifted, the one who learned to read a situation before it read you. Maybe you loved someone who let you down when you needed them the most, and some part of you decided, I will never be caught off guard like that again. So now you prepare for disappointment before it even has a chance to arrive, because a wound you saw coming feels smaller than one that ambushes you. Maybe life simply taught you through a diagnosis, a loss, a betrayal, a financial collapse, that the ground can disappear beneath your feet without warning. And once you've felt the floor give way one time, some part of you never fully trusts a floor again. So of course you grip. Of course you plan. Of course you try to control what you can, because so much has already proven itself uncontrollable. This isn't weakness. It's a kind of survival wisdom that made sense once. It kept you alert when you needed to be alert. It kept you one step ahead when being caught off guard would have cost you something you couldn't afford to lose. But here's what nobody warns you about that survival wisdom. It doesn't know when to stop. It doesn't know the difference between the danger that's actually in front of you right now and the danger that already happened years ago. It just keeps scanning, keeps bracing, keeps whispering, don't let your guard down, not even for a minute, long after the actual threat is gone. So you end up exhausted in seasons that should feel peaceful, defending yourself against a storm that isn't even there anymore, because your body never got the message that it's safe to stop watching the door. And this is where the well-meaning advice usually fails you. Just don't worry about it. Just trust more. Just let go. As if the grip were a switch you could simply flip. As if years of learning that vigilance equals survival could be undone with a single sentence someone posts online. That kind of advice, however sincere, often leaves people feeling more alone. Because now, on top of the anxiety, there's shame. Now you're not just anxious, you're anxious and apparently failing at faith too. I don't want to add to that weight tonight. I want to say something different. You were never actually designed to carry the weight of every outcome. You were designed to be held, not to hold everything together yourself. And the difference between those two things is the difference between exhaustion and peace. It's not a difference of effort. It's a difference of who the weight was always meant to rest on. There's a story that has stayed with me for years, and I think about it every time my hands start gripping too tightly. It's the story of a man in a boat in the middle of the night in the middle of a storm. His name was Peter. Picture it with me. It's the fourth watch of the night, somewhere between 3 and 6 in the morning, that same exhausted, raw hour so many of us know far too well. The disciples had been out on this lake for hours, and the wind had turned against them almost as soon as they left the shore. Not a passing gust. A relentless, grinding headwind that made every pull of the oar feel like it accomplished nothing. Picture their arms burning. Their hands blistered from the wood. Salt spray stinging their eyes in the dark. The boat rising on one wave and slamming down into the trough of the next, over and over, with no land in sight and no end to the wind. They were experienced fishermen. Some of them had grown up on this water. And still, this storm had them frightened because they knew better than anyone how quickly a boat like theirs could go under. And then, in the middle of that chaos, they see something impossible. A figure walking toward them on top of the water. Not swimming. Not clinging to wreckage. Walking, upright, steady, on a surface that was throwing their own boat around like a toy. At first, they think it's a ghost. They cry out in fear because in that moment, the impossible feels more terrifying than the storm itself. Their exhausted minds can't make sense of what their eyes are showing them, and fear fills in the blank with something worse than the truth. But the voice that comes back to them through the wind is calm, unhurried, unshaken by the very waves that had them terrified. Take courage. It is I. Do not be afraid. It's Jesus. And Peter, impulsive, passionate, terrified Peter, the same Peter who would later deny even knowing this man, says something remarkable. Lord, if it's you, tell me to come to you on the water. Think about what he's really asking. He's not asking for the storm to stop. He's not asking for calm seas or a peaceful night. He's not asking Jesus to fix the wind or reroute the boat or make the whole situation disappear. He's asking to walk in the middle of the chaos toward the only steady thing left in his world. And Jesus says one word back to him. Come. So Peter swings his legs over the side of the boat. Try to imagine that moment. The wood is slick under his hands. The other disciples are gripping the sides, shouting things we don't even have recorded, probably something like, Peter, what are you doing? His own heart is likely pounding harder than it ever has. And he steps down, onto water that should have swallowed him instantly. And for a few seconds, he does it. He is walking on water in a storm toward Jesus. Try to feel what that must have been like. The impossible becoming possible one step at a time. The fear still present, but somehow underneath his feet instead of in front of him. The wind still howling in his ears, the spray still soaking his robe, and yet, for these few impossible steps, none of it matters, because his eyes are locked onto the one face in the storm that isn't afraid. And then, Scripture says something devastatingly human. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid. He looked at the wind. Not at Jesus anymore. At the wind. At the size of the waves. At the noise. At the situation. Maybe a wave slapped against his leg. Maybe the boat groaned behind him. Maybe, for just a split second, his mind did what all of our minds do. It went back to assessing the danger instead of trusting the hand that had called him into it. And the moment his focus shifted from the person holding him steady, to the size of the problem around him, he began to sink. I don't think Peter suddenly lost the ability to walk on water. I think he took his attention off the only thing that was ever making it possible, and put it back onto the thing he was trying to control. He started managing the storm again in his mind, instead of trusting the hand that had already called him out into it. And the second he did, he went under. Can you feel how familiar that is? It's the same thing that happens when you're doing okay, actually breathing for once, actually trusting for once, and then you check the number or reread the message or remember the diagnosis and suddenly you're back underwater. Not because the storm got bigger, but because your eyes left the one place that was keeping you steady. Lord, save me, Peter cried. Not a polished prayer. Not a theological statement. Just 3 raw words from a man who was actually drowning. And here is the part I want you to sit with for a moment. Scripture doesn't say Jesus waited to see if Peter could fix it himself. It doesn't say Jesus stood there with his arms crossed, waiting for Peter to calm down, breathe correctly, or prove he had enough faith first. It says, immediately, Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. Immediately. Before Peter had solved anything. Before he had regained his composure. Before he had proven he deserved rescue. The hand was already there. It was always going to be there. Peter's sinking didn't surprise Jesus, and it didn't disqualify him from being caught. And then, notice this. Jesus doesn't leave him in the water to teach him a lesson about faith. He catches him first. The gentle correction, "You of little faith, why did you doubt?" comes after the rescue, not instead of it. I think this story is not really about walking on water at all. I think it's about what happens the moment we take our eyes off the one who is steady, and put them back onto the storm we're so desperate to manage. Because that's what control really is, isn't it? It's staring at the wind. It's trying to calculate the size of every wave before it arrives. It's believing that if you just watch closely enough, brace hard enough, plan carefully enough, you can keep yourself from sinking. But Peter didn't stay afloat by controlling the storm. He never controlled a single wave that night. Not one. He stayed afloat by looking at the one person who was bigger than it. And the moment we're in right now, whatever late night worry brought you to this video, whatever situation you keep replaying, whatever list you keep checking, whatever number you keep refreshing, maybe it's not asking you to control it better. Maybe it's asking you to look up. So what does that actually look like, practically, tonight? Let me offer you something small. Not a system. Not 7 steps to fix your whole life by Friday. Just a few honest movements you can make right now, in this moment, sitting exactly where you are. First, name it. Not in general terms. Specifically, what is the exact thing your hands are gripping right now? Is it a health result you're waiting on? A relationship that feels uncertain, where you keep rereading old messages looking for a clue? A financial fear that visits you the moment the lights go off at night? A child you can't stop worrying about, even though they're old enough now to make their own choices? Say it, even quietly, even just in your own mind. You cannot release what you refuse to name. Vague anxiety floats around and attaches itself to everything. Named anxiety, at least, can be placed somewhere specific, in a hand big enough to hold it. Second, make a small physical gesture of release. Right now, wherever you are, open your hands. Just unclench them, palms up, resting on your lap or on the surface in front of you. It sounds simple, maybe even too simple to matter. But your body has been holding tension for so long that it needs a physical signal, not just a mental decision. Your nervous system doesn't always believe your thoughts. Sometimes it needs your body to go first. Open hands cannot grip. Let that be your prayer posture tonight, even if no words come at all. Sometimes open hands are the whole prayer. Third, give the outcome away on purpose out loud if you can. Not forever. Just for today. You can pick it back up tomorrow if you truly need to, though I hope more than anything that you won't want to. Say something like, "God, I don't know how this turns out. I've been trying to control it because I was afraid of what happens if I don't. But tonight, I'm placing it in your hands instead of mine. Not because I've stopped caring, but because I've stopped believing my grip was ever what was holding it together." Fourth, look up, not around. When the noise gets loud, whether it's your own thoughts at midnight or the actual chaos of your circumstances during the day, resist the urge to stare harder at the wind. Staring harder never once made a storm smaller. It only makes you more aware of how big it is. Instead, ask yourself, where is the hand that's already reaching for me right now in this exact moment? You don't have to solve everything to be caught. Peter didn't. He didn't fix the wind. He didn't calm the waves. He didn't even manage to keep his eyes forward for very long. He just had to be close enough to reach, and Jesus did the rest immediately before Peter had proven anything. You just have to stop staring at the size of the wave long enough to notice you were never walking on your own strength to begin with. If you're the kind of person who processes things by writing, you might try putting this into words tonight. Not a whole letter. Just a sentence. Here is what I'm letting go of tonight. Sometimes seeing it on paper or typed into your notes app makes the releasing feel more real than simply thinking it. And if tomorrow morning your hands start reaching to grip it again, that's all right. This isn't a one-time fix. It's a practice the same way Peter probably needed that hand more than once in his life. Open your hands again. Look up again. That's not failure. That's just what walking on water in the middle of an ordinary, anxious life actually looks like. Maybe this is a good moment to pause the video for a second if you're able to and actually do that. Open your hands, name the thing, say the sentence. Let your body feel the difference between gripping and releasing right now before the moment passes. If this word met you somewhere honest tonight, if you recognized your own hands in that steering wheel, your own mind in that 2 a.m. ceiling, I'd love for you to stay a little longer in this space. Consider subscribing, not because this channel needs another number, but because these words are meant to be walked through together, week after week, storm after storm. And if there's someone in your life who grips the wheel too tightly, who checks the messages one too many times, who hasn't slept peacefully in a while, send this to them. Sometimes the most loving thing we can do is hand someone a breath they didn't know they were allowed to take. God, my hands are tired. I've been holding on so tightly for so long that I forgot what it felt like to simply rest. Tonight I open my hands. I'm not saying the storm doesn't scare me. I'm not saying I understand how this ends or when or why it had to happen this way at all. I'm just asking you to catch me, the way you caught Peter, immediately before I had it figured out, before I deserved it, before I stopped sinking on my own strength. Help me look at you instead of the wind. Help me trust your hand more than my grip, more than my planning, more than my need to see every step before I take it. For every night I've spent staring at the ceiling instead of resting in you, I release it now. For every list, every scenario, every worst case I've rehearsed in my mind, I release it now. I release what I cannot control, and I receive instead the peace that only comes from being held by someone stronger than the storm. Teach me to open my hands again tomorrow, and the day after that, for as many times as it takes. In your name I pray. Amen. If something in this prayer stirred your heart tonight, feel free to write below what you've been gripping so tightly. There's no shame in it here. We can hold it in prayer together. I'll see you in the next one.